Welcome to today's show. My name is Brenda Bates, Medicine Woman, and with me is
Jen Toffel, Medicine Woman.
And we have a new decoration on the set. You'll see our Christmas tree. You'll see all these different decorations. And we went beyond tacky. We took all our little things that we like and just started to let them create life on their own. So
it looks like Santa's workshop.
Literally. They need to have a cleaning crew. But not really complaining. But we ended up taking and putting up about 3 trees. Just took one day and just did it. And we went through old boxes, and me and my husband have realized we have Christmas boxes that are missing. But you know what? We're not going to go look for them right now.
There's enough.
Yeah, and there's just too much.
But it's reorganizing, so it's neat to see that you're just going and sifting through and organizing so that each maybe decade it's good to do that.
Yeah. And the tree that's being presented here is that since Jen had a transition, she never really got to put up a tree that was just Jen's, yes?
Correct.
And so I said, play with it, do whatever you want, here's a tree. And so Jen put up her goodies and everything on it, and then behind us there's a mixture of her and me all over. So hopefully you'll get to watch the videos. And had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Was able to learn to be grateful, and I was reading our friend Octarine's astrology report, and it was interesting. I post all of these holiday funny cartoons, but I wanted Thanksgiving to be noticed as Thanksgiving. So, you know, I'd post 2 or 3 a day, and hardly got any response. Now, I know the algorithms on Facebook are really
wacky.
They're completely whack. I mean, half the stuff that I thought I said I have a new list for, it happens to be kind of gone. I'm like, whatever.
And then on fan pages, if you post on your fan page, then it ends up on the right side of it, but it doesn't come up as a big block unless you make a big picture or whatever. So I guess if I want to post anything on fan pages, better start making memes. Hey, did you read this?
Get your attention now. So rhythms are changing. That is what we're noticing. And I'm really getting into honing in on what is relationships, because the heart math, if you ever get into it, please start studying it. But the energy of our heart that generates out, there's a lot of ways to measure it. And sometimes I feel, maybe as a kid, I kind of closed that down. Now, the most bizarre thing that came up was, as I'm looking at energy, I'm an empath, and sometimes I can't seem to help that their energy is intermingling mine. It actually overrides what I want to do. And usually it's when I'm in the car, when it's very completely obvious that I get red lights, I get the flow of speed of the cars.
Right, like the other night when we went to town to go see that parade, and on the way back there were these guys that were taking up the lanes. They go in the same speed, so you couldn't get by either one.
Yep. And I started looking around, and then I know my self-talk, and all of a sudden I started getting angry, and I'm thinking, no, I know this isn't me. I know I can potentially become it so easy. What is going on? And it seems like I'm picking up more energy, even though I don't want to. And I think Octarine was talking about how her astrology that she put up on Facebook, how Venus is moving into some place. I don't know anything about these planets, but the energy is moving in, and it's like, I want more attention! And it's like, that is exactly the feeling. That energy had shifted, and everybody wants this attention. Everybody wants this attention from Brenda. And it's like, I don't want to give you any. You know, I would like some. Literally, I would like some. So I'm doing the same thing. I want attention too.
We've investigated this before, where in your background where it wasn't safe to kind of lay claim to, because it's been about territory issues. It's about, we talk about our carbon footprint, you know, and part of the heart math kind of goes into, well, I'm taking this energy and I'm putting it here, or it's emanating, and was it safe for you to say, hey, here I am?
Yeah.
Most often it wasn't safe for you to do that, so it makes sense that you went insular.
Yeah, and you know, when you start to look at your heart, the heart is the first thing that gets to be born, and as those cells begin to divide, it's funny because all I keep getting is the impression that energy happened to come in with it, and it wasn't like my energy. It's like all this grief. So when I was being made, there was a lot of grief being present. I swear that's what it feels like. So now that just triggered me into remembering a dream. I just had a dream last night that I just remembered. It was all about how I was activated. It's like having these abilities being actually turned on and switched. So my last night's dream was that I remember seeing the switchboard, and if I passed a certain extent, then the switchboard would become activated. And that's what happened. I'm like, oh look, it happened 3 times. So every level lit up, and I remember wanting to go to you saying, hey, let me teach you how to activate this so that you too can have it. So now I'm like, there's a lot more meaning into that, isn't there? Okay, going back to relationships, these energies are pushing all over about everybody wants attention. And when it come to Thanksgiving, that whole month it seemed like nobody really wanted to be grateful. And what I've noticed was the intensity of the past when I was growing up. The household, the way that the energy was supposed to be set is that your positive thinking was actually negative. Does this make sense?
Well, the people who now we're on the journey where we are can see and look in and see that it's negative.
We can really see it's negative.
Right, but they don't have any idea that they're being negative. They think they're being positive.
And the jokes, some of the jokes that had come about are supposed to be funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're completely negative, degrading.
They're cut down.
They're cut down. And it's like, wow, we have really learned to maybe deflect our insecurities or point out other people's flaws, or, what is it? But the farther back you go in history, there wasn't a lot of, what do we want to call it, as we begin to open each of these levels or the seals of our consciousness, there wasn't a lot of, what do you want to call it, participation of intelligence when it came to opening that heart up and think on a deeper level of contemplation with our spirit and our soul. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of thinking, but there really wasn't a lot of deep thinking. Now there's a lot of deep thinking come to the surface, and with deep thinking comes positive thinking, and connecting with that higher self. A lot of people, I think, were taught, that's dumb, don't follow that crowd, they don't know what they're talking about. Or there were very few. Plato was one that was very in-depth, but it's like he could be the only one and nobody else could follow that. But that's because there's certain people in history that opened up to set a trailblaze for the rest of us. So you have to have those pioneers where they look like they're alone, and that they're supposed to speak in great volumes. But I remember growing up, and it's not that my family was mean. To some degree they were, but not just like any other family. But the consistency was to be worry, which meant I love you. It was to be angry and sad all the time because that's what life gives you. It was just to enforce the energy of lack. It's a constant lack. A lack of love, a lack of this, a lack of that. And all you're doing is reading a code that says that something is not in sync. Now, before we go any further in this, and hopefully we can talk more about it, but I do love having my people, or our people, or people in general that really want readings, and we appreciate you coming here. So we do have one in queue. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go right to this person.
Okay, caller, you're on the air with Brenda and Jen.
Hello.
Brenda and Jen.
Hi.
Hello.
I think your radio is up too loud. Can you turn it down a little?
Is that better?
Yes, much better. How can we help you?
I don't know. I'm just, I've never called before for some callers, so
Okay.
I'm wondering what the
most of the time when people call and they're not sure exactly what to expect or what to do. See, and if you have a specific question about relationships or money or stuff like that that is bugging you, yes, then you can ask directly and we'll find out exactly what is projecting that. What is your soul saying? Otherwise, a general reading is that first layer of what your soul wants you to address, to look at, to heal, to mend, or to grow with.
Employment is a good area to look at.
Okay. And you're also, one of the things I feel is that you're picking up the world around you that says you're supposed to have a job. And this time of year, everybody's going to be more poor than what they are. And I can tell that you're picking up frequencies of going, oh, I don't want to this type of life. Now, as I look a little deeper, there's a part of you that has decided, I don't want to be in this. So you kind of do a checkout mode. We all do them in some way or another, and especially around the people that we just don't want to absorb their stuff. Now, I got to figure out what your soul wants you to do. It's not about healing in this case. It's about growth beyond. So what they're saying is that there are usually 4 stages of growth, and there's a baby stage, a student stage, a teacher, and guru. The baby stage thinks they know it all, and then the transition is realizing there's something to compare it to. Well, maybe I don't know it all. Maybe I could investigate this over here. So you learn to become curious, but you're okay with answers coming in, and you're going to learn to decipher them. So you are at the beginning stages of awakening up in a different area of some type of maybe spirituality, but you realize that you don't have to, I won't say follow the crowd, but because I feel in a way that you're some sort of leader, that you can maybe a trend setter, or people look up to you, and part of you don't believe it. All right, so what I've just said, does that resonate with any of you?
Part 2, I am the least. I am the least in any. Let me try to rephrase that. I am not a crowd follower at all.
Okay.
Never have been. Never will be. When the crowd goes one way, I go the other.
Okay.
That's my nature, so that part does not resonate at all.
Okay, so here's the thing.
But I do have a lot of that. I'm not a trend starter either, because people think I'm very strange and odd and different. Some people I like that, but most people don't, and they would not want to follow my so-called trend setting. But I am definitely looking to unchain myself from a lot of what was pounded into me, and I do mean that pounded in my childhood. I had very, very oppressive, and controlling father, who very dictatorial. So I would say that I'm trying more to free myself from a lot of that.
Okay.
Those things that he imposed upon me so forcefully.
Okay.
Hold on to years about, especially around work, to be honest, around jobs.
All right,
That's
so
very heavy-handed.
what I do notice and what I do see is that, yes, you don't follow, but you have been following the energy just like all of us, because we have to. It's part of that group consciousness stage. And there's a part of you that says, you know what, I'm done believing in lack. I'm done believing that we have to be victims. When the economy said, oh, you know what, we're in a recession. People don't spend money, don't do this. But yet you have a feeling that you know that they are controlling to keeping us in lack. It's not that you're a conspiracy theorist as much as you're waking up and saying, oh, I'm so done with this bullshit. And you're looking for that particular part of employment that you can allow yourself to have the stream of money that's going to be able to do this daily living. Again, you don't want to follow the trendsetters, or you don't want to follow something, but without realizing it, you do have this energy. You do have this energy that wants you to get out there, because there are some people that could use your the way that you tackle life. There are people that need to have this catalog of saying, I'm so done following the sheep, I'm so done doing this, and without realizing that there is a part of you need to play that will help others, you know, break free, because they will resonate the way you did it. Now, you don't have to stand up and give up speeches, but just allow the energy to come in and say, what part am I supposed to help change the world? And it could be just simply going to the grocery store and standing with an energy that says, I'm not putting up with something, or I'm going to find this loophole that says I don't have to buy this or that. Again, there's so much unseen energies that are unfolding around you, that there are people that are looking for your type of catalog of how you managed life. So, again, when it comes to the unemployment, there's a part of you that says, I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right or what I'm doing. It sounds like you need some extra cash, you don't want to live the way you were living, and now you want to move forward. Because of this, wow, that's interesting. I don't know, the word embarrassed just come up. And I have to figure out what they're talking about. It's not about the embarrass you take the wrong job. Would you embarrass somebody? Would you embarrass your family if you chose to do what you really want to do?
No. That is not ever an issue with my family now. We're all black sheep, so we all except for one family member, but we're all black sheep, so we don't embarrass. It's hard to embarrass each other and one another in that regard. No, I'm not from no. We're unconventional folks.
Okay. What I see then is that you need to find a job where you can stand out more. Because here's the thing, you just said that you can't embarrass, you're all like type of black sheep, you do what you want to do.
Yes.
But I think you're supposed to now step into something where you are supposed to make a statement. Not to embarrass your family, but because you are a black sheep, you got to stand up to that label.
Oh, I do. Oh, I have no problem with that label.
Then what is it that you're supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? They said that they've laid it out, that they kind of pointed a direction about what kind of employment you need.
That who laid it out?
Your spirit guides, your universe, the way the universe works together. They have been guiding you about doing something, and you just haven't done it yet. So it couldn't be a job that doesn't exist yet.
Mm-hmm.
So have they give you clues about maybe a desire or a hobby that says they want you to go in a certain direction?
Well, I've always known my direction. The glitch is that the direction I'm to go or have gone is no longer really, well, it's a very complicated matter, so I'm not going to try to explain it, but I do have a career that I would like, and a vocation and a calling, and want to re-enter that after a long absence, and I can't go back to the way it was. I want to pick it up on a new thread, but that's very challenging to do for a lot of reasons. Again, complicated. I'm not going to go into that. In the meantime, as I do my bigger work, purposeful work, I also need to support myself, and I want to support myself with some kind of work, not necessarily related to my career, but that is makes me feel good again. That that pays some money, and that I enjoy, and I know what that is, and I hope that I can make it happen. I hope that it unfolds in that direction. It's a different industry than I've worked in before, but I'm very intrigued by it. And I've actually met somebody who is in that industry, or I'm about to meet somebody who's in that industry. So I hope that he might prove an open door so that I can move forward in that direction, sort of like being on Plan A and Plan B at the same time, or Path A and Path B at the same time.
Okay,
so
so
my job is to supporting me, but my work also gets attention, and they're two separate things going on at the same time.
So basically,
that makes sense.
Yes, as they say right now, they just want you to have the Wizard of Awareness. Just be mindful and observant, and remaining neutral about what goes on in the world around you. Apply to the environment. This applies to the environment within you. If you struggle inside yourself, stepping into an observer position will give you a new, powerful perspective. So basically, you're supposed to stand back and observe and wait for things to just unfold. And they're saying at this point, just don't step into it too fast, because it's not the time to engage, because you don't want the unwanted chaos and drama in your life. So you're supposed to just sit back and observe and know when to take that next step, because it will be shown to you. Okay?
That can be a little, I understand what you're saying, that might be a little risky because there's no income coming in now.
Well, here's the thing. You're looking at wanting income, but what if you're supposed to go and do some things on the side? You know.
Oh, I'm looking for things on the side continuously.
But it sounds like you're doing okay. It sounds like you're already doing what you want to do. I think the thing is that you just need a sounding board. Talk to somebody so that you can bounce your ideas off, and so that you can see the direction that you're going. Because you know you want a job or you want the money, but yet you already have a vocation. You know you want to go this direction, but you're not sure about this. But I just think you need somebody just to bounce ideas off, and then watch for it to be open.
No, I couldn't say that. I'm really just more curious whether this other side work, I guess I'm going to call it, is going to unfold.
Okay.
Really, I wonder if there's going to be work in that direction, whether or not that is a direction that will open up for me.
All right. Well, it sounds like I can't help you, and I'm sorry about that. Apparently my abilities are not intact today. So hopefully you can find somebody that can help you. Okay?
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to take a small break. We'll be back after this. All righty. We're back. And as I look at life, it's a cause of spiritual investigation.
Now, what's interesting, this stood out as a clue, but I didn't do anything with it. When you said it before we called into the show, when you said, oh, I charged my phone last night. Why doesn't it have any power? And instantly it thought of, okay, am I losing power in my communication?
Oh, that's a very good clue. And sometimes we are. It's lost in translation. It is the energy of whether we're in sync or out of sync. Who are we going to draw to us? For instance, contradictory. Doesn't matter what I say, it could be contradictory.
It's like that person that you had to play, that would come over and play games. You say yes, they say no.
Yeah, it didn't matter what
position you took. You could take one that you're totally against, and then they become for it.
Yeah, and we even just started to just throw stuff out there to see what happened, just to test it, to see how it would work. And we were not a part of the conversation. We literally were not meant to be a part of the conversation. They needed a human being just so they could talk to themselves.
Right.
And there are people like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that don't blame yourself. It happens. The energy is very much quite simple, because the self-talk, or the RTJP, the right temporal junction parietal lobe, is about to think what other people think. And as you're in sync, the one thing you want to do is, again, if you're in sync, you already have this energy that starts flowing back and forth. You kind of can finish each other's sentences. You kind of know, like when we're cleaning and decorating and working, we already have this flow about just doing it our way, but yet doing it in sync, and not, running into each other, not thinking, oh my God, I'm doing it wrong.
You kind of anticipate, you could see where the energy, that's going to be worked on, so I needed to be, I need to move this chair so then she can come and move that table and then move this. And
Working
then
together.
But it's not, I hate, because it was just like, let me do this because.
So what happens when we're out of sync? Quite a bit.
Oh.
Many things. If you are not linked up to the person that you're with, you will have issues. And like I said, this energy that had shifted on this planet, my lower part of my spine, it just was, I was collecting people's grief. I was collecting how they just didn't like it. And the negative thinking was, oh, I don't really want to go to that store. Oh, I'm sick to my stomach. Oh, it's all these little thoughts that are vibrating at a certain rate. And trust me, I picked up on, did I want to? No. It's part of what we were talking about was Inception. The movie in itself was a great movie, and it is literally to get into...
How do you implant an idea into somebody's head?
Exactly. And it's when your subconscious mind, because all healing and changes take place on that level, so if the implanting is happening, it's when your brainwave is at a certain rate. And it's not that you're less protected, but it is where you're more open in the intuition area. Doesn't mean you're vulnerable. It just means that you're more programmable. That's why the power of suggestion, we have to really be careful on what we're saying, because especially if a person's open to think that, my God, it's true, without really looking at, you know, to consider the source type of energy.
Right, and it's interesting because you would call those people gullible.
Ah, yeah.
But they don't have those built up layers of protection or filters to like when I tell your husband, well, I'm allergic to bullshit. You know, you can't bullshit a bullshitter kind of thing. Like, you are so trying to pull, no. Here, watch this. Dun, 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 3 steps ahead, and then, you know, and it's because we play that game together.
Yes.
Because we could, but a gullible person would come in and be like, oh, really? Is that what? And
because it's part of
and
that.
they're so innocent, and it's like, oh, whoa, no, I can't play with this person because I don't want to have any of my power suggestion go to them. I don't want to be that negative or have those ideas go that far.
Right, and gullible, it was always considered as a nasty thing. If you're gullible, then that must mean you're stupid.
Right, you're the thing.
And one of the things as far as coming in as gullible is that you're also trusting.
Your caudate nucleus must not be as built up either.
Yeah, your fear. The caudate nucleus is where you collect fear or joy. And more fear you have, the more you... But then again, that's not true either, because if that caudate nucleus is built up with fear, you still can put up a filter that says, I'm going to ignore that, and I can't, because it's too hurtful. And so then you are left to be in a vulnerable state, especially on the quantum creativity.
Interesting.
As far as constantly creating this stuff always to happen. But that gullible really is not a bad word, but the connotation to it has become that.
Exactly. Oh, you're calling me stupid. No, it's just, I know that my words will have an effect, and I don't want them to have that much of an effect on you, because I don't want to go there.
But in the way that growing up, oh, you're just gullible. God. You know, there was the intention of how they said it. That meaning behind it, that really...
In the same way that people said, oh, you're just so sensitive. Grow a backbone.
Yes.
Here, I grew such a backbone, and I'm now a porcupine. Thanks. Anyway.
But what happens is that relationships begin to fall out of sync. And when they're falling out of sync, everybody's got to protect themselves. They got to be right. And the other people have to be right. And then, oh, no, everybody's got to be wrong. Oh, my gosh, there's always got to be a battle. And then some people are in that energy where they like to fight. And do you know what I mean by that?
Well, they like that spot to spar with somebody, to have some, like my ex said, oh, I wanted somebody with fight back. Oh, God, it was just so tiring. Like, everything was a fight back.
Yes, because Bad Teacher, if you ever watched the movie Bad Teacher, the girl was the teacher, but she just was in the world of her own that doesn't matter. She's going to do what she wants.
She can say whatever.
Yeah.
No consequences.
Oh, yeah.
There were no consequences. She felt no consequences. Whereas sometimes I would feel overly sensitive as to the consequences. She just didn't give a crap.
No, she didn't give a crap. She judged everybody.
My give a crap is busted, or whatever it is. My give a damn is busted.
But you know, always like... But here's the thing. It is this energy, and this is what gets very confusing. I feel everybody trying to figure out how to catch up with us, and it's the energy has been out of sync. It literally is meant to be out of sync today, and it's like, I was so looking forward to having these the show. It really is. You know, I really wanted the show. And so if you're going to be out of sync, I'm not sure. Have we put up the healing tools of Wayne Cook? Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Well, I know I at least recorded the video.
Wayne Cook, if you look on mwreveal.com under healing tools, Wayne Cook posture, even the alternative one, or you can go to MW or Medicine Woman with an A, Medicine Woman, the number 4, the letter U.com.
It's also on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Medicine Women Reveal on YouTube.
Now, what's important about this is that if you're out of sync, you got scattered energies. And a lot of people don't think about energies. They just think about your attitude and your emotions and, you know. But your energies, like for the Wayne Cook, the main test is have the person read. If the person is reading and you muscle test them and they show weakness, meaning that they lose power as they read, then the energies around that person are going to be greatly scrambled. That they actually, if they're going to be like, say, a teacher in front of the classroom, they will send energy out, so they wipe out the students. The energies will be scrambled all over. So you can literally affect the way you communicate or stay in sync. Now, there's a great amount of information that, just like me and Jen sitting close to each other, we can affect each other with our thoughts. Our thoughts do affect the world. It was used to believe that, oh, your thoughts can't affect the world. It could affect one person. Yes, but it also can affect the world. This is how you can concentrate and fuel and keep group consciousness in the play that it is. There's not just one particular topic of group consciousness. There's many. And there's layers of it. But what's important is to, if you find yourself out of balance and trying to communicate with people and it's just not working, and it could be them and it could be you. But the main thing is that if the energy is speaking louder than you are. It is emanating. It's what they call a persona. It's what they call, well, let's call it a persona. But the other part is that in the heart math, and I'll suggest that you start to just look it up on your own, but the heart math is, they have a mantra, they get into that sacred space of the heart, and all healing can really be done at that level. They show, Greg Braden had shown a video of a healing where these people were saying mantras over a person that had a tumor, and within 2.5 minutes, almost 3 minutes, the tumor, the huge tumor, had shrunk down to absolutely nothing. Now this is without touching the person, and it's pointing out that the vibration of your intentions are really affecting the people around you. When I got up this morning, you know, everything was good, and then I can always feel the energies of the people in my space. That's why I have territorial issues when it comes to energy-wise. You know, I don't mind living with you, but if your thought processes are going to be eradicated, no, that's what I want to do.
Yes, you would like it. I'm not taking it personal.
But the energies of the, you know, they're just gone chaotic. We have
thoughts gone wild.
We have 41 thoughts per minute, and the problem is when you have that many thoughts going on, you don't pay attention to all of them. You go nuts. That's why when people are thrown off center, they're stressed, and they can't stop thinking obsessively about the issue that's at hand, okay? And that means that you're just having all of this energy going wild, and most all of your 41 thoughts are accumulated on this issue. But you have, on a given day where you're not really stressed, you can have some denigrating going on. We all do that because we do believe in separation. We do believe in lack. And even if people say they don't believe in lack, it's consciously making that choice. But if you look at the life will determine what are your beliefs, what are your thoughts. When a person says that they're happy all the time, and yet hell's going on, in the next breath they're upset. It's great that you can convince yourself consciously that you're happy, but your body's telling you something. And there is a recipe to life, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of who you are. That is a recipe. And each one of those require attention and love and balance. And if they're out of sync, it really can cause you to have issues.
Well, yeah, I have this person in my world that, well, I'm just such a positive person. I am so positive. And then have a conversation, you know, over happy hour or something like that. Oh, and that person, they don't know what the hell they're doing with their life. Oh my God, can you believe that that person's with this person? And they don't raise their children. And then they let their kids go wild. And then, and then, oh my God, oh, my job is just so overwhelming. And it's like, do you understand that there might be a little contradiction in your life?
Most people don't.
But they have no conscious connection. What do you mean I'm not positive? I just listened to 10 minutes of you spewing, and I'm going to reflect back to you that it may not be as positive as you think it might be.
And there's a difference between a conscious level and an unconscious level. Now, see, I like to say subconscious because your subconscious is it's underneath the conscious, whereas unconscious could be the fact that you're laying in bed in a coma. So most people walk around acting like they're in a coma, and that's natural to some degree. It is part of the awakening. Now, I started to write about relationships, and it comes to the fact that most people say, I want to have a relation with somebody that's spiritual. Now, they go and they find a spiritual person, and then they try to cohabitate together, and then they find out they can't. They're just not spiritual enough. And that is not usually the case. The case that I see is that the two languages are unable to communicate to one another when it comes to those very personal, deep parts of you, the rest of the 41 thoughts. You know, you may pay attention to maybe 2 or 3 thoughts, but the rest of those are the foundation of who you are. And if you don't realize it, you'll be picking up other people's stuff. Then there is your answer to that person's stuff. Then there's the answer to your stuff. And then the answer to what's going on around you. There's so many conversations going inside your head. Which one is really you? Well, that will determine how much you identify. If you identify with everything around you, and I'm not saying, oh, I identify that Jen's wearing a white sweater.
This is a table.
Yes.
These are a deck of cards. This is a keep. No, you're not taking inventory.
Exactly. But what is an identity is when you have the emotional body that is saying, oh my God, you're wearing purple. I love this. Okay? And this is part of the identity is that you know what you like. Now, people have issues and they talk about them. They say they hate them or they don't like them. Well, that's fine. But the thing is they still are having an identification. They identify with that pain, that agony, that suffering. That is your identification. If you are emotionally invested in those things in life, you can become that identity of those issues. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back after this. Yeah, and I noticed this after a holiday, a major event, there's the fallout.
It was a 4-day weekend. There was a lot of crazy shopping and activities, and some people like to whoop it up and party, and they might be hungover. We were going back to absorbing people's thoughts. We actually went to the store Thanksgiving night. Holy
yeah, I was driving, would not get out of the car.
I've never done that before. And Scott and I just ran, we were like, okay, ready, go, dun, team, dun, 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 let's get what we need. Okay, oh my God, I've never done that before. I don't know if I ever want to do that again.
Wall to wall.
Oh
people.
my gosh, and you couldn't. And then we went all the way back to the store. And then they were out. And then we went all the way to the front of the store. We came, it was. And then you texted me, hey, I found a parking spot. Can I come in? No, don't come in.
Yeah.
But anyway, absorbing people's energy.
Well, it is. But it's crazy because after you're done, you kind of need to do something with that fallout. When 9/11 occurred and major events occurred, everybody will be affected to some degree. People say they may not be, but I didn't even know what was going on, and my body was physically going nuts around me. And it was like there's got to be some form of explanation of what is happening. And when this occurred, the chemical peptides that your body makes is incredible. It can deplete you or it can empower you. when I pulled up to Target, and I'm thinking, seriously, oh God, no. I said, you either jump out of the car and go in and look, or we're just driving straight home, because I ain't going, and so they jumped out really fast, which was great, and so it's good.
We went on recon. We've got a team. Okay, leave no person behind.
And they did it so quick that, I found a parking spot, and then they just, before I could really say, hey, I really got one, they were already out the door going, oh my God, we're not doing this again. And I'm okay, I'm all right, we will not do that. And yet I watch people plan, and they take markers, oh, we're going to hit this spot, we're going to buy this, we're going to do this, and we're going to go in and do this fight. And I'm thinking,
we were just looking for, because it was a good deal on a fire pit for the labyrinth, so it was with a spiritual purpose. But we gotta, okay, they don't have one, get back in the car, let's go.
So we've been noticing this theme that happens after the holidays, that it's like nobody does the radio, nobody can get back in sync to their regular day of life, or they don't like the daily grind. And they don't know how to, because you want to escape from all the stress. It's like you have to go on vacation after you went on vacation, depending on how much energy you put into creating a vacation. But it seems to be a common thread in the group consciousness, because it is, the two cards that I drew was from the Colette Baron Reed, the Enchanted Mat, was number 46, coming apart. People come apart when they get back into routine. If they're all up into the grid of all of this chaos and hell, and then all of a sudden they have to put themselves into a deep freeze, because that was the other card I picked up, was number 26, deep freeze. It's like they're coming apart, and so they got to quickly put themselves in a deep freeze so they don't fall apart completely.
Or they have to hibernate.
Yeah, and then give it a few days of regular routine again, and then they'll get back in sync. Now, I also know that that's not true for some, because we don't get caught up in the chaos, or we don't allow ourselves to be swept away, or being such a control freak, or in all those stages. You literally are, oh, okay, you can do this. And you want to go back because you look forward to the routine. People would say, oh, I hate Mondays. I found a reason to love Mondays. I found a reason to love these particular things. And most people say, well, you don't have a regular 9-to-5 job. Okay, maybe I don't, but I also don't have to start believing into your hells that I have to be bad for not having a 9-to-5 job.
Right, that was, my ex was famous for saying that. Oh, why do you need a 4-day weekend? You don't do anything anyway.
Well, you have to feel bad about it. But as far as what we're going to learn, okay, let's get back into the routine of things that on the day-to-day grind. So how to explain some things. When Spirit is flowing through us, it's amazing of the information of how it is all connected, how it is in sync, and how it completely flows. Because I will pull things through, channel things through, and if I didn't record them, I probably would go, what the heck did I just say? Because there are oftentimes I do say, Jen, what did I just say? And she usually is pretty good at my feedback loop of going, you said this. And it's like, okay. Because there are times that we just do not, or I should say, when I'm in spirit, I don't remember some of the things I say. So.
And it's interesting because it's that coming apart. So just paying attention to what's going on culturally. I mean, we had the big election and everything like that, and people are getting, they're still angry about, the people who need to be put behind bars and how the bankers really run the government and all that kind of thing. And it does, more attention is being brought to that, but if, we've known that for a while, but it feels like it's just coming to surface to then come apart. It needed to rise up and for us to pay attention to it in order for it to fall by the wayside, that it's not working. This way of doing things is no longer working. Can we shift away from this kind of way?
Well, we are going to be doing that, and we have been doing that because we have been awakening. But can we work together? We know, like I was telling you about spiritually speaking, you're spiritual, you want to find a mate that's spiritual, but when you come together, it doesn't work. Why? Because two spiritualities may sound the same, but it's that really, out of the 41 thoughts, it's really who you are. What kind of behavior do you have? What kind of attitude do you have? I don't believe in competition. It's not that I hate it. I literally just know that there's something opposite of competition, and that is working together. When we're playing games, that more of you who will come out. When I was reading a meme that says, really define the true nature of a person, or they said man, was not to talk to their friends, but look at how they treat their enemies, or look how they treat their competitors, look how they treat those people. Because, you know, if they're going to be underhanded and if they're pissed at you, guess what they're going to do to you?
They're going to do the same. They're going to follow that pattern that they know.
Exactly. How you do anything is how you do everything. And we don't want to be in storm fields. We don't want to be in that chaotic mess with relationships. So that's why we find relationships, so that we can have those storms calm down and that you can be in sync with some people. But when those old attitudes of who you are does not mesh with the other person. It's funny because in the store I had said, honey, let's buy this and we'll try it out. He said the opposite, as if I hadn't been standing there at all, and says, honey, we should do this. It was like turned around to be his idea. I'm looking at him going, that's what I just said. He did it like 3 or 4 times. I'm thinking, crap, we're out of sync.
Yeah.
And it can get very frustrating when we're out of sync, because he'll take it personal to some degree that, well, what do you mean? And I'll say, well, it's very much, I can see that we're not talking in sync with one another, which can cause both of us get frustrated. Like, I was getting frustrated because I'm thinking to myself, why did I just waste my time speaking? What do I do? Do I have to get his attention then say what I want to say? Because I thought I already had his attention because we were shopping together, communicating together. At least that's what I thought. But it ended up not being that energy field that we were in sync. So it just got to the point where it was just easier to just shut up, and maybe he'll make conversation. I don't know. But this energy has been strange. So when you are coming together, I wish I could come up with better examples, or at least channel some more information. Relationships, as she was telling you, as Jen was telling you, that people say, yeah, I'm so positive. And yet in the next breath, they're showing a different attitude. They're showing a different behavior.
Have no conscious connection between the two.
Which means they can't recognize the fact that they're that way. It's a habit that they're so natural that they don't know they're doing it. And they don't see, even if they do point it out, well, yeah, I'm angry. But they don't see how that affects their spirituality or affects who they are. They just figure it's part of them. Well, when it comes to relationships, when I start teaching about what is a spiritual human, and you start looking at this deeper layer of who you are, and choosing to heal certain things, resolve certain things, educate yourself with certain things, you literally are changing the behaviors, the attitudes, the beliefs, the habits, the phobias, whatever it is. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that you're out of sync with yourself. You're more in tune with your contradictions and your conflicts, and it's like you want that to happen because you say, oh, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but yet the conflicts are there. There's one side of you that says, because you are made of those 2 frequencies, the yin and the yang, that, oh, I'm going to go in this direction. Same time, no, I'm going to go in this direction. So you create an indecisive moment, but yet if you were to talk to each side of yourselves, they both have made a very firm decision to some degree. And when the energy starts to pull apart, what do you think it does to the cell?
It rips it apart.
So, and you go into the messages in water, and when you have a positive word, what does it do to the cell? It crystallizes it to make it look like a beautiful snowflake, but it's in harmony, and you can see it. It shows, the harmony glistens. But if you take a word that's to decimate, destroy, deplete, you actually don't see the crystal taking beautiful shape. It actually is destroyed.
Now, I've been contemplating this and wondering if this fits in, because you talk about relationships and that kind of thing, and wanting to be spiritual. I'm thinking of a particular instance with my ex when we were still dating. I don't even think we were engaged at the time, because I was still working on stuff to become ordained. But I had that issue where I needed to have colonization in my female parts. And I said something like, because I had just recently had my Reiki attunement, and I said, oh, well, I want to use Reiki, or I want to use alternative healing, or that kind of thing. And my ex at the time said, oh, you're one of those people? Now, and I had thought that because he was interested in what I was doing as far as some of the worship services or going to the retreat center together, that kind of thing, that he might be interested in spirituality.
Yes.
I thought that was
You had something in common.
Right. And I thought that was a form of spirituality that was come together. So that when I said that, and I just like burst into tears. It was horrific to me at the time that he would attack in that way. Wait, nah, it's like you don't even know me at all. And then so I just gave up, and then I ended up going back to the OBGYN, and he said, see, and I told you that Reiki stuff wasn't going to work either, so we need to have the procedure, we need to have surgery. So it was like all those things, and it was interesting that it was the male energy coming at me, and it was confirming at that point in my life that I'm just seeing what that reflection was.
But it's also very interesting to watch as we go to commercial, and we'll be right back after this. And that is a promo. We do have another show that we do on tonight from 8 to 10. And it is on Sepia NC, so it's sepianc.com/radio. And we'll be on at 8, so you don't have to look for us like you would on Blog Talk. You just get on at 8 o'clock and listen to our show. And it will be live because we've already said so.
Because we're live. Because we're alive.
Okay, so yes, there was a teaser, but I don't even remember what it was now. So we'll just take a caller, and then we will get back to where we're supposed to be.
Okay, caller area code 609. You're on the air with Brenda and Jen.
Hello, hi, how you doing?
Pretty good, and how are you?
I'm doing okay.
How can we help you?
Well, I wanted to know if you can give me a reading about my health.
About your health. Okay. Are you
Yes.
are you concerned about it? Is somebody concerned about it?
Very. Yes, I am concerned.
Okay. So we're going to find out what's going on. Let's give it a second here. All right. There's a part of you, the first thing is the angels came up and says, stop worrying, start talking to divine guidance. Well, that's why you called us, is to have that outside thing. What was that? Oh, that's interesting. Hold on, there's an extra beep because somebody's trying to call me. How do you shut it off?
I know, look, that's
Oh
called
my God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what the hell. Red button? No. Okay, sorry for the beeps, people. I've never had somebody call while I was using it. Okay.
We've learned something new.
Oh, this is part of a clue. So the calling, somebody's trying to contact, and we don't know how to not. Oh, that would make sense. So let's see. Are you a very considerate person?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I am, yes.
Now,
I am.
are you over considerate? Do you give yourself too much of yourself? Are you over considerate?
Well, I don't give myself too much of myself at all. I need to give myself.
Okay.
And that's what I'm working on right now, is myself, trying to
Okay.
heal myself from the inside so I can be healed from the outside.
Okay. From what I can tell is that you're over considerate to others. You watch others not be considerate enough to you. Is that true?
Yes, and it hurts very deeply.
Okay. And that is the main reason why the body is acting the way that it is. And they're saying that the body goes into shock or stress mode, and when that does that, the main thing about that stress mode is I can't figure it out, or it's up and down. Things are just not what's going on, and the thinking and the emotion becomes muddled, where you can't think. You're like, oh. So it becomes, by the direction that you are to be more considerate for yourself, meaning you need to be less considerate to others. It doesn't mean you have to become them, which means not to be considerate at all, but the behavior of how you are too considerate. Now, this sounds very familiar to me because I am too considerate at times, and it takes and blurs the boundaries. I go and I be considerate, you know, I make sure that I'm on time, I do this, and then people show up and they don't show the same respect. And you're like, okay. Now, we want to easily get mad and upset, but that's where we're also losing power. Another way that I'm over considerate is that they will do something and somehow I blame myself, or I take it on because I know they won't see themselves at fault. So I will step up and kind of like degrade myself. You know, say, oh, I'm sorry for that, and then literally take on the pain and the suffering so that so we can just move on from that particular point. I don't know if I explained it well or not, but there's certain behaviors that your soul is asking you to stop doing. It's easier said than done because it's so who we are. It's so ingrained in us. But if you can start writing down how you know you do this, not at first when it comes out, it may be about how you're considerate and how pissed you are that they're not considerate. I would say you need to put how you're mad at them, put it on the scale from 0 to 10 and heal that out, because that knowing and that energy is being placed there, it will cause the body to be in conflict. Okay? So then you go and you say, okay, look at how I give of myself and actually deplete myself. So they, you know, oh, I really wanted the whole couch, but now I have to give it up because that's the right thing to do. Well, you need to heal that too, because it's not the right thing to do. Because what if you're actually sick and you need the couch? You don't have to give it up every time. You don't have to give up everything that's yours. People can literally find other places to sit or learn to show respect to you. By having that part of ourselves that are constantly giving, we can't receive, which causes us always to be in the position where we always have to give. So literally, you need to look at how you know how you give too much, put that on a scale from 0 to 10, and heal that down, because the energy is off balance. You with me so far?
Oh, I'm with you 100%.
Okay, so it's how you know these specific things, and because it's that energy that keeps fueling it, so you keep being repetitive. If your physical health is completely off balance, there is a contradictory, and again, it goes back into how you're over concerned. Now, Jen, what did you pick up real quick so that we can go a little bit further?
Okay, so in the cards that I drew, the fairies or the earth magic, the earth elementals, you're not tapping into them. Whatever they want to be able to help you, because right now you're being too calm about that. You need to be more active in using their help, because they want to help release. Something needs to be released, which is what Brenda's been talking about, because you need a better communion, and they want to help you with your body so that you can start listening to the messages that your body is giving, so that there's a reciprocity, so that you understand, oh, my body is doing this, now I can understand what that message is.
Well, do you like the mountains?
I don't know so much about the mountains, but I love the great outdoors. I know that much.
Okay,
I love being by the water, the woods.
Okay.
Water is my number one.
Because I was asking your soul, I says, does she need to go near water more? And they said, no, that she's got that element down. I said, all right, how about being more grounded, stepping on the grass? Nope, she's got that down. And I says, well, what part is she missing? It's looking at the beauty of, like, the energy of the mountains. And
what about minerals?
Yes.
So maybe taking some minerals may help in the ingesting them also.
And I'm going to look. Does she be able to digest the minerals? She'll be able to do more. Now, here's the interesting part. When you look at the energy field.
But you see, also, I got some addictions that I'm also working on. Also.
The what?
You know, so I've stopped that also. Well, I'm trying to stop them, so I'm trying to stay clean, so I know that's going to play its role also.
You're trying to stay clean of what? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
We both missed whatever word that you said.
I don't mean to make you repeat it.
I said I got some addictions.
Okay.
That's what we missed.
All right, so now this is the thing that I'm looking at is, now this is that funny that you say addictions, because the large intestine meridian is about the dogma, it's about addictions. And they said that this is what keeps repeating the process. And so we're going to look at, I'm going to look at one. So I want you to focus on, you said some addictions. So just pick one in your head and just focus on that addiction. Okay? And now I'm going to look at why did this addiction occur. And one, you didn't know how to handle that moment. You didn't know how to forgive yourself because of a choice that you made. Now I'm watching you look like you're in the corner doing this addiction, and people around you kind of expect you to act this way. Now that's interesting. So when you were little, did people expect you to act a certain way?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really be around anybody. Just for the fact that my family just drains me from my energy, and then I get the fact that I want to use, so I use, and I don't really want to be bothered with the people that I know because I know they do it, and that'll just bring me more down and take more energy. So I'm pretty much just a loner.
Okay.
And that's not the way I should be, but I'm tired of my family using their energy, and so if we're not speaking, we're just not speaking. As far as me, if it's helping me to get clean until I can get stronger, then it just has to be until I can get strong enough to stand on my own 2 feet.
Okay.
Then I can, find a different way to, talk to them in a better tone and handle things in a little bit better manner. But right now, it's just not good because I don't want to use, and I know if I get myself tangled up with them or that crowd, then that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to go back to them. What we're looking at is what caused you to have an addiction. And what we want you to understand is when you go to the healing tools on mwreveal.com, when you look at the healing tools, you're going to look for meridian tapping. Meridian tapping will help you disrupt when you have that craving, when you have that urge, when you have the thought process that says that I want to use. All of whatever it is that motivates you to use, you can help disrupt that signal by meridian tapping. Do several rounds of it, especially if it's really strong. To tap into like the verbiage, what's causing you. Now, sometimes when you use meridian tapping, you don't even have to have words. But there is a thought process. The dogma of your life means there's something that's repetitively happening. It doesn't even have to be the addiction that it is, but it's the thought process. Something's causing you to do this over and over. Now, I drew a card, and Jen, go ahead and read it.
Okay, so it's the Goblins card. And goblins are born when you're wounded and something essential is lost in that experience. From that point on, as you forget your wholeness, they remain with you in the shadows. There, they remind you of what brought them into being by mimicking your own voice, tricking you into believing you're unworthy, victimized, or unlovable. They hold you hostage through low self-worth, self-sabotage, and the feeling that you're lacking what you need.
Okay, so at 4 years old...
That is so true.
So did something happen to you at 4 years old?
Well, I don't know about 4 years old, but I'm just going to just be point blank because I'm here for the help. I was sexually abused by my dad.
Okay.
It was a lot of abuse in my life.
Okay, because they're saying
physically,
here...
emotionally, verbally, just everything. And I would love to have a man right now in my life, but I know that's not the direction I need to be looking at. I need to be looking in another direction.
Very good, very good. They're saying that at 4 years old, that was the first time you checked out, meaning 4 years old, something happened, happened, and you didn't have the tools to process it, so the only way to handle it, cope with it, was to check out to some degree.